In the first week of June 2025, the city of Karachi trembled, not once or twice, but over 30 times in 6 days. From Malir to Korangi, from DHA to Gadap, the ground rumbled repeatedly. Initially dismissed as minor tremors, the seismic swarm has triggered a far more serious line of inquiry. Are these quakes a warning from beneath or indicators of deeper, darker secrets? Welcome to the Drishtikone show, where we go beyond the noise, pierce through the propaganda, and expose the phenomena and actions that others are too afraid to touch or approach. This is not just about politics, you see, it's about rediscovering the truth. Today, we want to bring to you our analysis of what may be behind the unusual quake activity in Pakistan, specifically around Karachi. Between June 1st and 6th, the following sequence was recorded. 13 tremors occurred in just 36 hours, including multiple within the same minute. The magnitude range was between 1.5 to 3.6 on the Richter scale, which is seemingly low but highly unusual in the cluster it happened. The epicenter regions are consistently urban areas like Malir, Quaidabad, and Landhi, and the depths are also unusual as well. These are extremely shallow, between 2 kilometers to 20 kilometers, which is actually characteristic of surface level or artificial disturbances. So this wasn't just about Karachi, you see. In May, Quetta, Swat, and parts of Punjab also saw unusual quake activity. Again, these were in close proximity to air bases and nuclear related facilities like Pakistan Air Base, Samungli near Quetta, Air Base in Masroor and Malir Cantonment in Karachi, and Kanoop, which is Karachi Nuclear Power Plant. On June 2nd, a 3.6 magnitude quake damaged Malir Jail's structure, triggering a mass escape of 216 inmates, including terror suspects. Was that just poor construction or a manufactured smokescreen? If the tremor was induced, the prison breach could serve multiple purposes. It could divert attention from ongoing underground operations. It could create chaos to mask military movements, and it could also serve as a signal event to test psychological readiness. Mainstream explanations cite Landhi fault line, now allegedly active after decades. While it could be geologically plausible, but the statistical rarity of 30 plus tremors in a single metro zone raises huge red flags. Earthquake swarms of this nature are typically seen near volcanoes, which Karachi is not near to any, or triggered by subterranean fluid movements, which include explosive tests or tunneling. So let's ask the question that needs asking here. Could there be military or nuclear links to these tremors? So let's parse the plausible options. 1. Subsurface construction or bunker expansion. There is growing concern that Pakistan's military is expanding hardened underground infrastructure, the HDPTs that we have talked about in earlier videos, particularly in and around the sensitive strategic zones. The recent series of unexplained tremors and minor seismic activity in the region has raised red flags amongst the analysts. These tremors are not typical of natural tectonic shifts. They may be linked to deliberate subterranean construction, as we have discussed. One possibility is the drilling and blasting for underground missile silos designed to shield and house Pakistan's growing ballistic missile arsenal. Another is the development or reinforcement of subcritical nuclear testing facilities, sites where nuclear reactions occur without reaching criticality, allowing for weapons development without triggering international monitoring mechanisms. These test beds are often concealed in hardened bunkers to avoid detection. Additionally, analysts also believe that Pakistan may be expanding a web of underground tunnels. These serve dual purposes, you see, facilitating the strategic movement facilitating the strategic mobility of military assets, especially tactical nuclear weapons, and ensuring survivability in case of a first strike. Such tunnel systems can also be used for covert transportation and secure storage, making surveillance and targeting efforts by adversaries that much more difficult. Taken together, these developments point to a quiet but determined effort by Pakistan's military establishment to fortify its nuclear posture and battlefield readiness in an increasingly uncertain time. Pakistan's nuclear doctrine is built not on deterrence, but on intimidation. It follows a strategy of forward deployment of tactical nuclear weapons. In times of perceived escalation, such as India's test strike of BrahMos in March 2022, when India accidentally launched a BrahMos supersonic cruise missile into Pakistani territory, these nuclear assets are silently moved closer to the front lines. In fact, this time it could be worse. They may be moved closer to highly dense civilian areas, bringing the masses closer to catastrophe. Just pause and think about it for a second. It is Hamas strategy 101 for you, but with a nuclear twist. Anyhow, this strategy of Pakistani establishment needs something more than bravado. It demands infrastructure, deep, hardened, and hidden. And that's where the tremors begin. The construction of subsurface fortifications, the underground bunkers and missile chambers generates intense seismic activity. The blast, the tunneling, the reinforcement with shock-resistant materials. These are not tectonic shifts. These are engineered quakes. When tensions spike, Pakistan activates rapid underground storage near key air bases, often in and around urban centers like Karachi, Sargodha, and Quetta. These sites allow for swift deployment but bring the nuclear threshold to the edge of the civilian life. With that, the margin of safety for people is completely erased. What we are witnessing could be a silent beat of war drums beneath the earth. A regime that hides its apocalypse under cities and calls it strategy. These tremors aren't accidents of geology, they are messages from a military that prefers playing nuclear roulette to serious and responsible statecraft. And each quake might be the echo of madness in motion. So could it be induced seismicity? Not every tremor comes from wrath of tectonic plates, you see. Around the world, the earth has shaken not just from nature, but from man's secret games beneath the soil as well. In the United States, underground fracking and weapons testing have triggered localized seismic tremors, which are tame by scale but revealing by nature. In Iran and North Korea, the quakes had a signature, deep, abrupt, and with frequencies that whispered of nuclear simulations, not full detonations, but enough to make the ground speak. So what about Pakistan? A country with a known doctrine of tactical nukes, a military that hides its weapons in city shadows, a deep state that thrives in ambiguity. Could subcritical nuclear chain reactions be unfolding beneath its own cities like Karachi, Quetta, or Sargodha? Some buried tests that stop just short of full yield, but are enough to advance design, boost confidence, and warn the rivals? In short, could Pakistan be conducting subcritical chain reaction experiments beneath its own highly dense populated cities? The pattern of tremors point to both the plausibility and possibility of that argument. The lack of transparency says that it is likely, and the stakes are terrifying. If you look objectively, then these are signals masked by shockwaves. When the earth moves under Pakistan, the question is not what happened. The real question is, what are they hiding? And more chillingly still, what happens when the next tremor is not a test, but the fuse itself? Quetta's tremors, which were over 4.0 on Richter scale in early May, occurred near Samungli Air Base, which has been long suspected of storing Pakistan's strategic assets. Meanwhile, Punjab's Jhang, Sargodha, and Shorkot Triangle is known for air logistic hubs, missile storage depots, and underground rail-linked military networks. Recent tremors near these zones add fuel to the theory of widespread military readiness operations, not just natural tectonics. So let us look at some of the other strategic possibilities. Could it be a cyber or directed energy sabotage? That is highly speculative, but not impossible. If adversarial states like, say, India or the US were deploying directed energy tools or kinetic projectiles like drones or bunker busters, they might create microseismic events. No public data confirms this, but the timing overlaps with the foreign reconnaissance flights and US naval movements in the Arabian Sea that raise suspicion. Second, could it be a masking asset movement? Seismic chaos can be used to camouflage troop and asset relocation. In wartime planning, minor tremors are sometimes used to distract from satellite-tracked logistics. And then there is this strange silence from Islamabad. Despite the alarming frequency, the Pakistani Meteorological Department has only issued vague advisories. No large-scale geological surveys have been published. No satellite imagery has been released. Why? Either they know and are hiding it, or they don't know, and that is even more dangerous. India must evaluate this pattern through the lens of its own national security. Are Pakistan's tactical nukes being moved closer to the population centers? Is Karachi becoming a nuclear urban shield, similar to what Hamas has done in Gaza? Are subcritical tests a signal to foreign powers watching Pakistan's stability? Is Pakistan preparing for a first use or counterforce nuclear posture? If it is, then these tremors are not geological, they are geopolitical. So what next? What all the geopolitical analysts need to do immediately is to correlate the quake data with historical nuclear test timelines. They need to use the satellite data to track fresh constructions around air bases and power plants. They need to monitor social chatter around Karachi for military movements. As far as Pakistani citizens are concerned, who are being used as cannon fodder en masse here, they need to demand transparency from the geological and nuclear regulatory bodies within Pakistan. And they need to pressurize the state to relocate critical infrastructure far away from the urban centers. And India, it needs to maintain operational readiness, reassess precision strike protocols on dual-use facilities, and prepare counter-narratives for global diplomatic forums if Pakistan plays the nuclear victim card after any of these escalations. When the earth shakes beneath a nuclear state, the tremors often begin in secret bunkers, not fault lines. Karachi's swarm of earthquakes may not be natural disasters. They may be strategic tremors echoing through Asia's most dangerous flashpoint. The ground is speaking, but who the heck is listening to it? That's what is most important at this point. This is Drishtikone, where we look deeper, where we tell stories that others won't. If this story helped you understand the geopolitical situation around India better, please subscribe, like and share. And do click that bell icon, please. Most importantly, tell us in the comments, what do you think Pakistan may be planning in the near future? And how can India counter it? Also, do share your thoughts on the role that the world will play in this whole damn thing. So until next time, Jai Hind.